Alright guys, a bit of a weekly update. Let me try and spin this round so we can get some better lighting. Okay, apologise for the lighting. I should be at that end, but when I'm at that end it's too bright for me looking forward, so apologies for that. One of the first things I want to bring up today though is this Zhiyun gimbal for the mobile phone works really well. The only downside I've had with it, and this is an honest review, has been the fact that when I leave it charged and then go to use it without charging it again, it goes flat very quick. That's the downside on it. Beyond that, I find it very easy to use. It's light, practical, easy to put in your bag. Although this big box is a bit bulky for getting in anywhere, but it will slide into a tripod bag, and the fact that it does have a little tripod on there as well means you don't have to carry a separate tripod as well. So there's some benefits to having it. This week's been a very difficult week in the sense of still trying to deal with the inheritance stuff, still dealing with some legal issues. That side, I've got to admit, I've got to the point now where I'm drawing a line in the sand and just passed it over to a solicitor. There's a certain point where you've got to recognise that some people, you're not going to get any sense out of them. It doesn't matter how honest and above board you are, or how you try and keep everything within the regulations. They have their own agenda, mindset, whatever, and as such, give it to a lawyer and just step away. Yeah, I mean, the good thing about this inheritance thing is because there's no will found, the gov.uk and probate law keeps it very simple. It's a 25% split 4 ways. 25% per person 4 ways, and that's basically it, unless the will is found, and I don't think the will be found. Well, let's be honest, we've been searching for it long enough and can't locate it. So I'm out of that now. It's been draining me. Work's been extremely busy, then having to constantly deal with that in your ear pretty much every evening in some context, and trying to help my brothers with their house, etc. It's just been a bit of a pain in the backside. But I'll leave that there. Lesson learned. I should have actually just said, give it to a lawyer and walked away. Well, I did try and do that, but somebody then tried to do something else, and now it's actually heading back that way anyway, so we might as well have saved over a month. But then again, never mind. We live and learn. Yeah, so what I'm hopefully going to see out of that, if I do get my 25%, and it is the figure I'm estimating on this apartment we're living in, we're probably going to buy. April and the kids are happy in Spain. I can't see that changing. I can see my workload becoming more and more computer intensive. At the moment, it's 90% spreadsheets, and I do expect that it will get involved in CAFM, computer aided facilities management, and other aspects of running very large businesses around facilities management and maintenance systems, etc. So I'm trying to gear more that way anyway. So I'll get an 8-hour work day, but at the same time, I can hopefully do it from Spain. No problem with traveling. It's just that sometimes you're just going to a meeting to show somebody the spreadsheet that you've been working on for the last week, which is fine if you have to do it once, but if you have to do it once a month, it seems a bit of a wasted resource, you traveling there, because, for example, driving somewhere can cost me 4 hours of a working day, and then I've still got 4 hours of work to do on top of that from the lost hours. Not basically 4 hours working time during the day, but basically I've got 8 hours working time plus 4 hours driving. Well, we're only paid for the 8, so this is why I'm sort of saying, look, we need to move more towards let's just get the work done. Yes, I can meet face to face. Yes, I can do this stuff, but primarily I want to focus on just getting the business in the right direction and focus on keeping on top of it. We have so much workload, it doesn't really help me traveling around. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. But yeah, the family stuff created some serious issues this week, and to be honest, I'm glad I'm back in Spain. Been an absolute nightmare of a week. But one of the good things out of this is because I crashed over at a friend's house for the week. A shout out to Van Gogh and Anna. We actually tried some. So I take this Xanthi diet. Basically, I mainly just use smoothies and milkshakes. That's it. Although they're not milkshakes, they're just shakes. They're full of vitamins, and I do a week of that, and I find I lose weight quite easily. April also does these green shakes that are actually from green vegetables and whatever she throws in there, cucumbers, celery, and all sorts. But I do find that if I keep to the green shakes, I lose 5 kilos in a week. With these Xanthi ones, they're a little bit different in the sense that the green shakes don't fill you up. You start to feel hungry after a few hours and don't really work in that sense. Don't get me wrong. From a nutrient point of view and having them for breakfast, they're fantastic. But if you're trying to do a full smoothie week, it can be quite a difficult week. But I find with the Xanthi ones, and Van Gogh and Anna have said the same, they don't feel hungry with it. And the calorie intake is about 200 per sachet. And we've been having 3 sachets a day, so 600 calories a day intake, which are mainly focused around vitamins and everything else. And I think because there's more injection of your vitamins than you would normally have for a lot of people, simply because people eat a lot of dietary things that aren't balanced. So at the end of the day, you may not be getting the same nutrients. And like, for example, people eat KFC on a very regular basis. Well, they're obviously missing a lot of stuff that they need in their system. So having these types of shakes could actually help balance that. And that's one of the reasons my wife takes them, because my wife's quite thin anyway, but this actually is to help get some more nutrients and increase her weight a little bit. But anyway, yeah, what I find is these, you can do 3 a day or even 4 a day, so you're 600 to 800 calories a day, and it's not really a struggle. And I do find you lose weight. You're not losing it rapidly though. I think Van Gogh's lost. Yeah, Van Gogh's lost. I think about 900 grams or something. And Anna's been losing weight as well. And myself, I'm losing weight because after the Christmas bit, I mean, this is the thing. I look at this as well, because you can actually make it more regime in the sense of have a Christmas blowout, which many people do, and instead of trying to avoid it, assume you're going to do it. You could have diet before and then diet for the first 2 weeks after, and then you could actually just have that period where you take off that excess weight you added over the Christmas period, because I find that much easier than trying to avoid all the Christmas stuff that comes in. So for myself, my weight is dropping again, back to near where it was pre-Christmas. So I'm quite happy with that, and the fact is I'll continue with this. The other thing is, it's not just shakes. They do other foods, and this isn't a sales pitch, but I think I've got a discount code. If I have, I'll add one below. But the advantage you've got with it is that it's like one of our friends does it on a regular basis, is because everything's sachet based, you don't have to cook. So people are actually using this as a way to do your weekly shopping as well, because it doesn't mean you just have to have 600 calories a day intake, etc. You can have more than that, and there is a bigger variety of food, and some people are doing that. You know, like Thai curry soup and all sorts. So I just want to put that out there, because I know some people want to lose weight, and I'm finding this one works quite easily. And when I'm working and traveling around, so you can throw it in the bag easy enough. But also, it means if you're late for something and missed your breakfast, you could stick this in your bag and have it, just stick it in a cup when you get to work and give it a stir around, and that's, you had your breakfast instead of missing a meal. So it's very flexible, which is a key thing for me, and it does work. I'm losing weight, and it's not hard work, which is another important bit. So that's enough about Exanti anyway. So what am I doing so far this year? Well, this year I've got to admit things have been very up in the air after losing my father. The whole UK side is completely disrupted at the minute. Work side looks good. As long as we can get on the path that I'm hoping they'll head in, I can see me being there for some time. And I'm looking forward to being able to get them in the direction that I want them to go in. At the same time, it gives me some job security from that front, which means that all going well with this inheritance, we will buy this one, and if we need a small mortgage as well, I'll be able to pay it off quite quickly. I am still trying to develop some new ideas online, and some of the ones I was doing before, I've had some software errors and issues, so I'm working on those as well at the moment. When I've got spare time, this is one of the things that I'm saying, I've been drained a lot of time because of some of the issues around family. But one of the things I do recommend strongly is, if you start getting into that, is break away from it. Because one of the things I've been sort of looking at in recent weeks is how people suck the life out of me. And it may sound a bit selfish in that sense, but it's not. You've got to recognise that some people will always be parasitical. And you will always get some people that will offer you nothing positive regardless. You know, there is no upside to them. They're always got a negative thing. It's always about them. It's always needing this or needing that. I recommend getting rid of them. I really do. Because the thing is, as the phrase says, life goes on. You know, at the end of the day, if you're there to sort their stuff out and they're not doing it themselves, life will go on. If you suddenly went and stopped doing it, if they needed something, they will still get it done because they have to get it done. And that's one of the things I will say. And I do get some people ask me some really basic questions on some stuff, and then they complain I don't respond to it. It's because there's a thing called Google out there. This thing called Google will actually answer your question without me doing it. Don't get me wrong, if you've got like 10 questions and we're talking about something and then you throw one of these ones in for a bit of advice, that's different. But when you actually message me as if I'm a personal assistant like Siri, you won't get a response. I just haven't got the time, and if I start doing that, you know what? You'll just keep asking silly questions. So yeah, the internet's there, use it. Do I still recommend living in Spain even with the Brexit stuff? The Brexit stuff is still a mess. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I mean, the countdown's already ticking, but you know what? They will sort it out. Life goes on. I lived in Germany as a child, pre-Europe, in the sense of you needed passports to cross the borders. Was it a big issue? No, it's like going through an airport that you would do normally. And even here in Spain, coming from the UK, I show my passport. And when I go from Spain to the UK, I show my passport. That's about as much as I'm expecting the changes to be. All about tariffs for coming into Spain, tariffs for this and tariffs. You know what? Throw that in the bin. Absolute garbage. Spain relies on tourism. Spain is not going to be looking to create an issue around this. Other countries are the same. And how do you decide who should and who shouldn't come? Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, Benidorm, which is what it is, the bargain bucket of holidays, they are not the sort of people that would quite happily accommodate an extra X amount going on their price of their tickets. I'm not saying they're tight, I'm saying they do value everything and every penny they've got. They are not people that want to be disrupted. Although they're trying to change the image up in Benidorm at the moment, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of money coming in from that. And that ain't going to change. And they ain't going to want to change it because a lot of the infrastructure and medical system and everything else accommodates that and is paid for by a lot of the tourism. So, in all honesty, I don't see visas being a major problem. I don't see a big problem with working between the UK and Europe simply because many companies didn't adapt in the first place. What do I mean? Well, you try and sort your tax out between working from Spain to the UK, living in Spain as a UK citizen. It confuses the tax system already because they never sorted it out properly in the first place. So would it make any difference to that? Absolutely not, because it was a mess to begin with. All you're going to have is who you need to pay partial tax for or annual tax to, and life will go on. I would say the relationships with the UK, because it's always been very dig its heels in and do things as slow as possible, it's only just catching up to where it should be in the EU. It's not even, and now it's on an exit, it's just going to reverse a lot of stuff it never actually fully implicated in the first place. Implemented. So from that point of view, I don't expect to see much change at all. I do expect to see an effect on the euro. I do expect to see an effect on the sterling. But even that, probably a few months. I'm not expecting years of despair and cutting to black and white and soup kitchens and people wandering for a loaf of bread with a shopping trolley full of money. No, I'm not expecting that at all. Same with the manufacturing. I think manufacturing, they'll sort it out in no time whatsoever. It is detrimental to both economies as such. They will want to find an even keel to keep things flowing. That's if we even do get an exit. You've got MPs going, oh, put it to the people's vote. Right, I hold my hand up here. The people's vote on the last one, they've made out that the people were too stupid and this £350 million bus and etc, etc. Here's the other side of this. MPs were voted on to make these decisions, and because the people already made a decision, they are supposed to sort this mess out. If they're not competent to do that, why are we employing them? Anyway, that was the thought of the day. The book I was talking about last time, Peter's got, I was going to show you it, but I've just realised he's got it. Very good book, and it explains about the issues that people have on realising to, I mean, I call it drawing a line on the sand, in the sand, which is sounds a bit better than not giving an F. It's basically turning up, what I do is I put a line in the sand, like for example, I've helped people up to a point, line in the sand, you're on your own. That's me. In the same way, I gotta starting to do less of making other people's problems my problem, simply because I'm tired of it. And the last few years have been quite difficult in relation to the losses we faced family-wise. And you start to say, well, hang on, my body clock's kicking. How many hours have I got left in myself? And I want to spend more time with the family and stuff like that. So I'm focusing more on getting the family life in order. I want to get the house bought, get the house paid for. Means April and the kids are secure. And then look at getting more property in Spain. I am going to do the air conditioning training course in the UK as well, because I think I'll get a van and we'll start a small air conditioning company as well at a later date. I say a later date because there's been a couple of people actually interested in working with us. So it may not always mean that I'll be the person doing the installations. but simply I may be the owner and having 2 or 3 installation engineers. Because I want to get at the point that we're actually offering a good service in the area. I know we can do that. At the same time, I want a bit of security for my wife and kids. The working with at the moment is very good. The company's good. And once I get to the point where things start settling down there, I'll know exactly where things will be for the long term. So there is a lot still going on at the moment, and I do think that one of the important aspects of the recent weeks and months is sometimes you need to stop and put a bit of a break on everything. Look at resetting the clock, reanalyzing everything you've got, reanalyzing your life even sometimes, to decide where you want to be. I'm one for 5 years, 10 years, 20-year planning. But sometimes when you get spanners in the works, like people's deaths, etc., it disrupts everything. And it takes a bit of a pause, wipe the board and start again scenario to sort of get it in the right direction. Doesn't mean give up, doesn't mean forget it, doesn't mean anything else. It just means that you need to analyze where you are today, because many things have changed. So I'm looking forward to 2019. I'm glad that we're now out of 2018 and the wheels are starting to turn for 2019. Had a bit of a rough time towards the end of 2018, and now it's a new year. Like I said, the solicitors are going to deal with all the other stuff. I've even told them I don't want any communication from the people creating the issues. Quite simply, just want my 25% and I'm out the door. I've had to do that simply because I'm not dragging it out. Don't want it dragged out. I just want it all dealt with so that everyone can move on in life. It's sad when you get like that, but at the end of the day, I've tried to mediate on a regular basis, and it's just been a completely pointless exercise, to be honest. So I'm just pulling myself out of this and saying, call it a day. Not my problem. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I sit and evaluate where I am. I look at my kids, I look at my house, I look at my wife, I look at how we live. I can understand why many people in Spain would rather take a lower salary and live in Spain than work in the UK, etc. But if you can get home working, if you can get home working or transient working, then it can work for you, because you can earn a good salary, say a UK salary. Myself, I would happily take a pay cut just to stay in Spain full time. Wouldn't bother me in the slightest, because we're not obsessed with gadgets and stuff. We're not obsessed with buying this or buying that. Yes, we do like new stuff. I mean, I gotta admit, I do buy a gimbal and stuff, but guess what? That's you guys. You complain my phone jumps up and down when I'm walking. But generally we just buy things like, yes, we've got a big TV, but basically, do we have a excessive amount of stuff? I would say no. I don't even have a coffee machine. We have a kettle. And, going forward with a new house, it will be a case of once that mortgage is set up, it's going to be X amount's going to be paid already, and then we want to pay this bit off as quick as possible. That becomes my focus, clearing the mortgage, which puts us in a much, much better position for the long term. No rent means our cost of living drops to about €1,000 a month, which is a considerable drop. Bear in mind, we have private health insurance and other stuff, so that's including the car, everything. And I think we could get that down even further, which is the next aspect of this, which I'm trying not to jump the gun here, but we get the house, get that one paid off, and work to getting another apartment and renting it out. I've got people wanting to rent their apartments, and it may actually pay to split the lump sum I've got coming to buy an apartment and buy this one and have a mortgage on both, and then paying this one off fastest, and then the other one would be more than covered from its rent to pay itself off. So still working on it. Like I said, it's nothing cast in stone yet. I will see. Cast in stone, cast in iron. Anyway, I've nattered on enough. Bit of an update. Just a random chat. I'm going to do more stuff around this area if I get time this week. Do a bit of a Lamata update if it's a nice day like today, although it's sunny, it's cold outside, but it also means that the weather's a bit crisp and nice, the colours are nice, which is great for photography. Alright, catch you later.